Oh, dog boxing, motherfucker.
A lot of Terence Crawford fans here online, every time they hear about Canelo versus Crawford rumors starting up again, they become ecstatic and excited, right? Because I get it. It's a big fight. It's probably the second biggest fight next to Canelo versus David Benavidez. So I get it. It's a very exciting fight. But that excitement and ecstaticness quickly turns into crying and whining, bitching and moaning as soon as other rumors come out that Canelo will be fighting William Scull instead. These Crawford fanboys, right? And that's what they are, right? They're Crawford nut gobblers because whatever Crawford says goes with these man fans. And don't get it twisted now. I think Terence Crawford is great. I think that he is a first ballot Hall of Famer and his legacy will forever be cemented. So please don't let me be misunderstood. Don't think that I'm hating here because I'm not. If Terence Crawford was more active, he'd probably be my favorite fighter. But what I am saying here is that these Crawford fanboys, these man fans, these meat riders of Crawford, yeah, they dick ride so much that it makes a guy like myself not care for Crawford anymore because of their dumbass logic and their fanboying that they be doing. I'm gonna give you an example of some of the dumbass shit these Crawford fanboys be saying. All right. For example, they'll say Canelo is scared of Terence Crawford. That's why Canelo won't fight Terence Crawford. All right. Well, if we're going to go by your logic, that means that Terence Crawford is afraid of Sebastian Fundora because Terence Crawford won't fight Sebastian Fundora. You see how stupid I sound? So, by your logic, Bud Crawford is scared of Bakram Murtazalia because Crawford won't fight Bakram. Or Terence Crawford is afraid of Virgil Ortiz because Virgil Ortiz has been turned down by Terence Crawford. And besides, Terence Crawford also said that he's not fighting nobody else except Canelo. And even though these guys are in his division, so by your logic, doesn't that mean that Bud Crawford is ducking his whole division because he won't fight nobody except Canelo? Make that make sense. If Canelo is a duck because he won't fight Crawford, doesn't that make Crawford a duck for not facing any of the other champions in his weight division? Because I thought that was the whole point in becoming world champion at a division. Isn't that the goal, to unify with the other champions? So you see why I'm going at these Crawford nut huggers, because they don't keep that same energy. These guys have standards and expectations for one fighter and then just go along with whatever their favorite fighter is saying or doing. And I'm already knowing what you Crawford meat lovers are going to say in the comment section. Whoa, dog boxing, you're this and you're that and you're a Canelo fangirl and all this stuff, right? I mean, all right, cool. I'll be that because I don't see or hear anybody else pointing out the hypocrisy and the double standards in all these fanboys and man fans. Like, it's cool to call Canelo a duck, but let me say or call Terence Crawford or Tank Davis or Devin Haney a duck, and then all of a sudden y'all are like, oh, wait a minute, that's different. Another thing is this. Let me ask you, Bud Crawford nut huggers, a question. What does Canelo gain, or what does Canelo win? What does he get if he fights Terence Crawford? Does Canelo win a belt? No. Does his fight versus Crawford do anything for Canelo's legacy? No. Why? Because it's just a welterweight moving up 3 weight divisions. Once Canelo defeats Crawford, y'all would just say, oh, Canelo cherry picked the smaller fighter coming up in weight. So Canelo's right. He won't get any credit. So again, what does Canelo get for fighting Bud Crawford? And you could say money. All right. That's one point that we could all agree on. Canelo will be paid handsomely for fighting Terence Crawford. But when Canelo names his price, you fanboys start crying about that as well. Talking about that 200 million is too much, 150 million is too much, saying that the man is outpricing himself. But is he really? Really? Come on now, stop and really think about it. If Canelo fighting Crawford means it does nothing for his legacy, he doesn't even get a belt, is 150 million really too much to ask for? I mean, he might as well get a big bag out of it because he's not getting anything else out of it. I mean, I could understand if this was any other fighter, right? But it's not. You know what I'm saying? 150 million is a lot of money for any other fighter. But this is not your average run-of-the-mill type fighter. This is Canelo Alvarez. This guy makes $50 million to fight Edgar Berlangas and Jaime Munguias. And I'm going to point out some more hypocrisy in you Bud Crawford fans. When Bud Crawford was negotiating with Errol Spence to make that fight, and the Spence fans were talking about 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, take whatever we give you. You Bud Crawford meat lovers weren't having it. Y'all were saying, pay Bud Crawford whatever he's asking for, but not Canelo. If you man fans and fanboys didn't have double standards, y'all wouldn't have any standards at all. But it is what it is, and it was what it was. And again, even though I am a Canelo fan, I am not against this fight. I'm not one of these Canelo man fans and fanboys that are trying to protect Canelo or hate on Crawford for wanting to fight Canelo. I actually wouldn't mind seeing this fight. And if this fight does come in fruition, then great. I'm buying it. I'm definitely watching it on my big screen. And if Crawford wants to move up through weight divisions and challenge Canelo, great. You know what I'm saying? It's his funeral. But if Canelo decides not to fight Crawford, then I understand that as well. Because, again, you've all seen what happened after the Jermell Charlo fight. Did he get any credit? No. Even though Jermell Charlo was undisputed in his weight division and he was filling in for his bigger brother Jermall Charlo, who wasn't ready for the smoking time. So if you're Canelo and you've seen that you don't get any credit for the Jermell Charlo fight, then why would you do it again for an even smaller opponent? A part of me wants Canelo just to retire altogether, because Canelo has done more than enough. He's cemented his legacy. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's become undisputed. He's a 4-division world champion. He's made all the money a man could possibly need. There's really nothing else that Canelo has to prove or he has to do, because I've seen Canelo fight enough champions. I've seen Canelo fight enough nemesis. I've seen Canelo move up from welterweight all the way up to the light heavyweight division and take on the best of the best in those divisions. I've seen Canelo fight enough guys to realize, and I came to the understanding that Canelo will never get credit, or anything he ever does, it will never be good enough for some of Canelo's critics. And forget about Jermell Charlo, because Canelo Alvarez doesn't get any credit for anybody that he fights. He didn't get credit for the Berlanga fight. He didn't get credit for the Munguia fight. He didn't get credit for the Caleb Plant fight. He didn't get any credit for the John Ryder fight. He didn't get any credit for the Billy Joe Saunders fight. He didn't get any credit for the Callum Smith fight. He didn't get any credit for the Kovalev fight. He didn't get any credit for the Daniel Jacobs fight. He didn't get any credit for fighting Edesandi Lara, Austin Trout, Miguel Cotto. So you see, no matter what Canelo does, whoever he fights, it'll never be good enough. Hell, he could even fight Benavidez. And once he beats Benavidez, all these haters are just going to turn around and say, well, he's ducking Morrell. But if Canelo does decide to fight someone else besides Crawford, then what? What's Crawford going to do? Retire? Is Crawford really just going to sit around and wait for Canelo? Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section, man. That's all I got for this one. And you already know, once again, this has been your boy O-Dog boxing, and I'm out this bitch.